Okay, I am on the interactive Python shell right now. And the first part, what we are going to see today is the operators in Python. Okay, those who have already done some programming languages might be aware of some operators. But for those who have not done programming, for them it is a necessary part. Okay, so the first operator which Python supports is your exponent operator, and it is used. Asterisk is used for exponent operator. So just I'll give an example here. For example, if I want to find 2 raised to 3, I need to put 2 and the asterisk sign, 2 asterisk signs are used. Okay. So this operator having 2 asterisk sign is nothing but your exponent operator. Let us say 2 raised to 5, and here we get the answer. Okay. The next operator is your modulus operator. It is represented by a percent sign. Okay. Let us take an example, 32. The modulus operator, percent sign. Okay. Followed by, let us say, I'll put here 3, press enter, and we get the remainder. The modulus operator actually returns the remainder after performing the division. So as you know, 3 tens is 30, so remainder is 2. Okay. The other operator which is available is your integer division operator. So like for example, a division sign is always a forward slash. For integer division, it is 2 slashes are given. So again, an example, we'll take 32 again, 32, 2 forward slashes, okay, and I'll put a 3. You can see I get only the integer part of your division. Right? The other operator, the regular operators which we have, like your division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction, are very simple. So for division, we can write 32 divided by 3. Now, if you look at the answer which I get here, I get the decimal places as well. So 10.666, this is what I'm getting. Whereas in case of integer division, we got only the integer part, that is 10. Okay. For multiplication, let us multiply 2 multiplied by 5. We use the asterisk sign. I get 10. The addition and subtraction are very simple ones. So I'll just quickly show you the subtraction, and we have the addition. Okay. Now, in mathematics, you know that we can also make use of brackets if I want to write any expressions. Okay. So there is some order of preferences, or you can say priorities given to different operators depending on how you have given the expression. For example, if I write 2 plus say 3 multiplied by some number, let us say 6, what is going to happen? Multiplication is going to get executed first, and then 2 will be added. So this is going to give me 20. So 3 6 are 18 plus 2, that is your answer, 20. But now if I put 2 plus 3 inside the round brackets and then multiply this by 6, the answer will be different. So here you see you get 30, like 2 plus 3 got executed first. So 5 multiplied by 6 gave me 30. So the highest you can say priority is always given to the brackets first, and then exponent operator, followed by the multiplication division and the integer division operator, which comes as the second priority, and it goes from left to right. So whichever is coming from left to right, it will execute that one. Then last one is your arithmetic operator, which is addition and subtraction. Okay, and again it is the direction is always from left to right. So let us write another expression and see how it will execute. I'll write a bracket -1, then I can multiply this. Again I'll put a bracket. Let us put inner brackets as well. 7 plus 1 here, divided by, again I'll put 3 minus 1. Now, how this will get executed? First of all, the innermost brackets, that is, we have 2 innermost brackets, 7 plus 1 and 3 minus 1. This 2 will be executed. So I'll get 7 plus 1, that is 8. 8 divided by 2. Okay. So 8 divided by 2 will be inside a bracket right now, right? So there are two brackets remaining, 5 minus 1 and 8 divided by 2. So what will happen? 5 minus 1 will be 4 multiplied by 8 divided by 2 will give me 2 again. Okay. So the answer of 4, this will be 8 divided by 2. So 4. So 4 multiplied by 4 should give me the answer 16. Okay. One more thing, remember, even though all the numbers which I have entered in these expressions are integer values. Okay. Whenever you perform regular division, that is single slash, not the integer division, the regular division, I'll get the answer in decimal places. Okay. So even if I get 4, it will be displayed as 4.0. So the expression becomes 4 multiplied by 4.0. And that's the reason, if you look at the output, here I'll get 16.0 as the answer. Fine. These are some simple expressions which we have and the operators which Python supports. And if suppose you make a mistake in the calculation, like for example, if I write say 42 plus 5, I put a plus, and then instead of giving a constant or something, I give the asterisk sign or the multiplication sign and I put 2 here. Okay, immediately I'll get the syntax error. Fine. And the syntax error, you can see it is highlighting the asterisk sign here. Clear? So these are your operators, arithmetic operators, and their priorities. The second part is the different types of, you can say, operator which is used with strings as well. Now, there are two operators which are also arithmetic operator and string operators. And the first one is your plus operator. Okay. Last time, if you remember, when we did the print statement, we wrote the strings inside the print function, and we had used the plus operator to combine two strings. Now, for example, if I have a string here, hello, okay, and I complete this, I put a plus sign, and again I put world, or let me put a space and world. Okay. So even though plus is an arithmetic operator, if I'm using two strings as the parameters for this operator, it is going to perform concatenation. Okay. So plus operator can be used with strings as well. What if I use one string and one numerical value? Let us see that. So if I use, say, 5, okay, in single quote, remember any content or any character, if I put it in single quote, even though 5 is a numeric value, because I've enclosed that in a single quote, it becomes a string. Okay. And then I put a plus sign. Okay. And I say, instead of a string, now I give 6 here. What do you feel the output will be? Whether it will give me an error or it will perform some concatenation. Let us see. Okay. Immediately you get an error. What it says? Can only concatenate str and not integer. That means I need to convert whenever there is concatenation happening, whether you are writing a program or on the command prompt, see that both the data types, especially in this case when you are using the plus operator, either it should be integer, both integers, or integer and float, float and float. And if you're using strings, both parameters should be strings. You cannot have one string and one integer value. Okay. So I can combine this. I can write like this. Plus, if you have a number or something and you want to convert that into a string, you can use the function str. Okay. It converts the parameter into string, and then you can see we get the answer as 56. And it is enclosed in single quote. That means it's a string and it's not a numerical value. There's one more operator, your multiplication operator. For example, if I say I want to replicate some characters n number of times, I can use multiplication sign. So I want to repeat a 5 times. So I can write in single quote a multiplied by 5. Okay. What happens? A is repeated 5 times. Now, multiplication can work with numerical values to perform the arithmetic multiplication and give you the answer. And if I'm using it with a string or a character, okay, it'll replicate the values. So need not be always a single character. It can be something like double character or a word itself. So if I want, I say wow, and I can multiply this by 10. Okay, even then I'll get wow 10 times. Okay, so the two operators, which is arithmetic operator as well as string operators, is your plus operator and your multiplication operator. Plus is for concatenation and multiplication is for replication. Clear? Now coming to your variables, how you declare variables. Now last time we declared a variable called my name. You know, it was like this, my name equal to, and we gave a name here. Okay, say Hari. I press enter, right? And if I want to display the content of this variable, I can display it like this. So if I say my name, whatever the contents are stored in this variable my name is getting displayed. Okay. Now there are some rules which you need to follow while naming. The first rule is it can be only one word. You cannot have multiple words. Like suppose I cannot write my space name. This becomes multiple words. Okay, it's not allowed. If you want to have combination of multiple words together, you have to combine it using a special character, which is underscore character. Okay, so a variable name can be my underscore name. This is possible. Okay, and I can assign some value here. Okay, either I can use single quote or double quotes. Let's use single quote. I use say Kiran, press single quote here. Even this works. So my underscore name, and it gives you the output. Clear? Do not begin the name of the variable with a numerical value. For example, if I write 2 NOs, okay, and I assign a number here, fine, I press enter, it will immediately give you an error. Okay, so remember, it's your variable names should be a single word. If you have multiple words which you want to combine together, either you can use the underscore sign, or the first character of each word, you can make it as capital so that you can distinguish between, or you can read the variable name properly. Like for example, if I say NO2 and I enter a value 67, this is fine with me, right? Because my variable is beginning with a character. Okay, it can have a number but not at the beginning. Now when I say NO2, I get the value which is stored in it, right? So these are some basic rules of naming your variable. Now let us see some functions which are used to perform conversions. Conversion in the sense converting integer into string, a string into integer, or a float into integer, and so on. Fine. So if I write str into round bracket 21, as I showed you before, okay, this will convert 21 into a string, and while displaying, it will display it in single quotes. Similarly, I can write int, round bracket in single quote, I can put say 43, press enter. Now you can see it is displaying 43 without single quotes. That means it is converted that into a integer here. But remember, if I write int and in single quote, if I put an alphabet, let us say I put A, whether it's going to work? No, it's not going to work. Now, those who are used to C programming, what used to happen was even a character used to be converted, a single character, into its ASCII value, which is not going to happen in Python. Okay, it is going to give you an error. Clear? The other part is if I want, say, integer of a float value. What is a float value? A value which is having decimal places in it. So if I say 19.89, right? Now the value which I have passed is a float value, and I want only the integer part. So I get only 19 here. Okay. Similarly, I can make use of the float function and convert a number, a numerical value, let us say 23, and press enter, you can see I get 23.0. It's converting that into a float value. Now, can I put it like this? I say int, round brackets, in single quote, I put 99.45, single quote completed. Whether this is going to be converted into integer. Okay, let us press enter and check it out. It says not possible. It says invalid literal for int, because I have passed what? I have passed a value which is a float value, and I have enclosed it in a string. So while converting, it is not able to convert this into a integer value, right? So do not try like this. Neither I can write say int, and in single quote if I want to say 2, TWO2, it's not going to convert this into a numerical code. Okay, again invalid input, right? So invalid literals for both the cases. Clear? So these three functions will be used frequently, because whenever we are going to make use of the input function to read input from the user, what will happen? All the input will be first of all treated as a string, okay, and not as numerical value. Even if I say accept age from the user or some number from the user, that number will be enclosed in single quotes and it will be a string. We have to perform, if we have to perform any calculations on it, then we need to convert that into either integer or the float numbers depending on your requirement. Okay. Now coming to the other operators. So we completed your arithmetic operator. We saw string concatenation, replication operator, and then we saw these three functions for conversion. Okay. The other operator which we will be doing is your comparison operator. Okay. So if we are writing some groups, or if we are writing the if conditions, we always have to compare the values. Okay. So there are some comparison operators, like for example, I can write 43. If I want to check whether it is equal to, so the double equal to sign is used, 54. And this should give me either true or false depending on whether it is equal or not. Okay, so this is not equal, so I'll get false. Okay, so your comparison operator or your conditional operator, you can call it. The first one is your equal to sign, and the sign which, or the symbol which we are using to compare two values, is always double equal to sign. Your single equal to is used to perform assignment. So single equal to is your assignment operator, and double equal to sign is your comparison operator or your conditional operator. The other operator which we can have is, again, I'll use the not equal to sign. Not is given by exclamation mark followed by equal to 54, and this condition is true, so I'll get true. Okay, and true is your Boolean value. Please remember, true, false, these are the two Boolean values which again can be compared. We'll see some more examples of this. Then we have the less than sign, greater than sign, less than equal to. Okay, less than equal to is simple. If I say 43 less than equal to 54, okay, it's going to give me true. Similarly, we have greater than equal to sign. Clear? I need not show that operators, but remember the comparison operators, especially the equal to, is coming with two equal to sign and not a single equal to sign. Clear? Now let us see the Boolean operators. The Boolean operators are your and, or, and not. Okay, so whenever we have multiple conditions, we can make use of the Boolean operator and. Okay, so for example, we have, say, 23 equal to 23 and 34 greater than 23. Now in this case, what happens, it's going to evaluate both the conditions, that is 23 equal to 23, check it. If it is true, it will return true. Then it check the second condition. Now in this example which I have given, 23 equal to 23, that is true, plus 34 is also greater than 23. So both these conditions are true. So true and true will return me true. Okay, so I get a true here. So you should be, you might be aware of your truth table, okay, where it says true and true will be true, true and false will be false. Okay, so if I write the same example again, and instead of 23 now I say 43 here, I put the and 34 is greater than say 23. Now one condition, that is the first condition itself, is false. So overall the condition will be false. Okay. Similarly, I can make use of the OR Boolean operator or the logical operator. Let us say if I give the same condition 23 equal to 43 or 34 greater than 23. Now, whenever you're using a OR Boolean operator, either one of the condition, if it is true, overall condition will be true. So in this case, 34 is greater than 23 is true, whereas 23 equal to 43 is not true. But overall, I'll get true. Okay. And the last operator is your NOT operator. The NOT operator is put at the beginning. So for example, if I say NOT, okay, and I put 23 equal to 43, let us see what happens here. Okay, even though the condition 23 equal to 43 is false, just because I put a NOT in front of it, your false is getting converted to true, and had it been true, it will be converted to false. Okay, now let us go to the file option and create a new file here. Okay, and I will be writing a program. Let us check. Let me check whether I can increase the font size here as well. So okay. Now, in this example, I'll show you how to write a simple if condition. Okay, your conditional if-else statement. Let us take a name. I say I'll assign some variable here, my name equal to, and in quotes I'll put Ajay. Okay, fine. This doesn't look good, but let us, instead of putting Ajay a constant value, I'll take the input from the user. So I'll write input, complete the round brackets. Okay, and I write a if condition here. If my name is equal to, in single quote, Ajay. Okay, I want to give a welcome message to Ajay. So I'll just write a welcome message, but there's one simple operator which is required. As soon as you complete the if condition, you need to put a colon sign here. Okay, so your if condition, after the condition, you have a colon sign, and as soon as you put press the enter sign or press the enter key, you'll find that my cursor is indented now. Okay, so I can write a print statement here, print, and say hello, and I can display the name, my name. Fine, complete the round bracket. Press enter again, and it is still indented. So I can write one more statement. Let me write one more, and I put welcome to Python program. Okay, press enter. Now I want to write the else part for this. If the condition is not true, that is the name entered by the user is not equal to Ajay, in that case, I can go backwards. Okay, so use your backspace to come to the level of your if condition. Do not write any statement for the indented part. Okay, so I'll put a else here, again followed by a colon. Okay, and here I can put print, you are not Ajay. Right? Now, please remember, if you look at the coding here, your first two print statements where I'm saying hello, followed by welcome to Python programming, this toPrint statement belongs to the if block. Okay. So I'll save this first. Let us save this, Control S to save it. I just give try.py, save it. Okay, that's my file name. And if I run this now, so function key, I can execute this, and you can see it is waiting for me to enter the value. I type Ajay here, press enter, and you can see the hello message, hello Ajay, and I also get the welcome to Python programming message. Okay, now I'll quickly go back and make some changes in this program. What I'll do is I'll remove this indent from here. Okay, so I've removed the indent, but again, it is whether it is a part of if block or not. That is what we are going to see. I'll save this and I'll run this. Immediately, I get syntax error. In Python, if I'm writing the code and if I want to write a block of a particular, whether it's a while loop or any function or a if condition, if these two statements belongs to this if block, it has to be in the proper indent. Okay, you cannot keep it here. So I click OK. Let me go back here and press the tab. Okay, now I have saved this, and if I run this now, there's no problem. It is executing it. Okay, let us enter a different name, Vijay, and I get the else part getting executed now, and it says you are not Ajay. Let us write one, you can say a statement where I'm taking the age also. So I'll make some changes here, and we are going to write one more variable, or let us put a print statement and ask the user to enter his name first. Enter your name. Okay, the user enters the name. After that, I'll take the age from the user. Okay. Enter your age, right? And let us write my age equal to input. Complete the round brackets. Okay. Now I am checking this name, and after this, welcome to programming, I'll use one more if condition here. If my age is greater than, say, 30, I can write print you are too old, or let us put 40. 30 doesn't sound old. 40 too old for this session. Okay, fine. So what happens now? I have put a if block. You can see this print statement which I've given is again indented from this. So this print statement belongs to this if condition where I am checking the age and not the name. But if the name condition is true, only then it is going to execute this if condition, which is a nested if condition inside your if block here. Okay, so I can run this one. Press this Control S, run it. Okay, it is asking for name. I say Ajay. Press enter. Now it asks me for my age, and I put say 49. Press enter, and what's happening? What's the error? I'm using greater than sign, and remember I told you your my age, which I've accepted because I'm using the input function here. Okay, the value which is stored here is a string, so I need to first convert this into integer. So what I'll do is I'll convert this here itself. I'll put int inside the round bracket. I'll put input. Okay, so whatever input is taken from the keyboard, that will be converted into integer, and then it will be stored now. So let us run this again. Okay, so Ajay, enter the name, say 46. Now there's no error. Okay, so it says, hello Ajay, welcome to Python programming, and you're too old for this session. Fine. Now I can have multiple ifs as well. Let us quickly do that. So if I don't want to write it here, let us say I don't want to write this here. Okay, and I want to check the age in the else part of the first if. So if not Ajay, at least he should be of a particular age. So else if we have elif, okay, ELIF followed by a colon or followed by the condition. So I'll write the condition here, age, say less than 30 or less than equal to 30. Let us put equal to. So if the age is less than, still I'll welcome him to the session. So I'll write welcome to Python session or program. Right? And then I can put the else, go back. Now comes else, print this session is not for you. Okay. Now I can run this one. Round brackets missing. Complete this, Control S, Function F5. So I put Ajay, but age I put say 67, and I say, you can see welcome Ajay, welcome to this. So welcome to, both the part is getting executed. You can see here, okay, because it is Ajay, what is happening? I get the name, hello Ajay, welcome to this. It never goes to this part, okay. But now if I change the input, so I'll run it. I won't put Ajay now. I put say Vijay. Okay. I put the age say 45. Okay. It says age, sorry, my age. My age. This is not age. This is my age. Function. Vijay. Enter age 45. Okay. This session is not for you. Fine. So what is happening? If it is not Ajay, then it comes here, checks the age. If the age is less than 30, it will give me welcome. Otherwise, it is going to the else part and giving me this output. This session is not for you. Okay.